So welcome, Denise.
Hi, how you doing, Vanessa?
I'm doing good for first thing in the morning.
Can I just tell everyone why I'm wearing my pajamas?
Yes, please do.
Otherwise, it might seem a bit out of context. So, I work from home, and sometimes I completely forget to put clothes on, and sometimes I don't leave the house. So that's why I'm wearing my pajamas. But when you work for yourself, you have that flexibility. You can literally stay in your pajamas all day. But I have to say, usually I'm wearing yoga clothes, so I feel a little bit more virtuous than wearing my pajamas all day long.
Is there something about the softness of it all that kind of chills you out?
It's winter in Australia. It's starting to become winter. So normally I would be wearing, singlet and shorts, but I know you're in the UK, aren't you?
Yeah.
And, it's getting cold here, but it's about 15 degrees and I can't cope. It's too cold for me. And that's like your spring, right?
Yeah, well, it's what we're due to go to at the winter, at the weekend, I mean, so that'll be fun. So would you just tell us you're in Australia, what is it that you do and what is it that you do that you love particularly?
Oh yeah, well I'm so passionate about what I do, so it's so easy for me to talk about. But I'm a coach just like you, and I'm also a speaker, and I'm an author of a book called Lucky Bitch.
Ooh.
It's my Yay! And what I do is I help mainly women. I inspire women to upgrade their life in all areas, whether it's personally or professionally, in the quickest and most fun way possible. So I'm all about being really lazy. I call myself smart and lazy. It's like, what's the quickest way you can do it, and what's the most fun way you can do it? And the reason why I call my book Lucky Bitch is because when life is easy and when you just create success like that, first of all, people think it's a fluke and other
Yeah.
people will call you a lucky bitch. And the other part is just claiming it, owning the fact that, you make things happen and you hustle behind the scenes, but, you know, people will call you a lucky bitch no matter what happens. So just claim it, right?
Yeah. So two schools of thoughts that I've got going. One is, firstly, what's the journey been like to get to this stage? Has it always been full of ease for you?
Oh God, no. So I've wanted to be an entrepreneur and work for myself since I was a little kid. And it's only really in the last couple of years that I've managed to make it work. And I think I know the reason. It's because one is I had a lot of stuff. A lot of us have got a lot of clutter from our past. And I really had that and I had to work through it a lot in my 20s. Secondly, I wasn't brave enough to actually do what I wanted to do. So I picked up my first personal development book at 14. So I kind of knew that I wanted to work in personal development, but I didn't want to admit that until probably my late 20s. I didn't want to tell people I was going to be a coach. I had kind of, I guess, coach shame. When
Yeah,
people go,
yeah. Oh
"Oh,
God, I know
I
that.
want to be a life coach and I want to inspire people," and you kind of go, "You're a shit." I can swear, like, I didn't want to be a mediocre life coach, and so I avoided it for a long time. So instead, I went from corporate to trying to work for myself, corporate to trying to work for myself, and I jumped in and out probably about 6 times. But when I jumped out, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I ended up doing kind of random stuff. One time I quit and I wrote ebooks for somebody, about internet dating. The next time I jumped out of corporate, I ran sales seminars for real estate and for a real estate company. And then one time I jumped out and I went into commission only sales. Like, it was just a disaster. So actually, what really worked for me, it was a process of about 4 years. I went from full time consulting and then I went to full time charity. So instead of long hours, I was, working in a charity 5 minutes away from home, much less stressful, so I could work on things on the side and not be my whole life consumed by work. And then I went 3 days a week in a charity. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So going part time, if you've got a business that hasn't generated enough money yet, is brilliant because you actually don't notice. It's not a huge pay cut going
Yeah.
from 5 days to 3 days. Like, you don't notice it that much, but you have to kind of cut out some holidays and all that kind of stuff. But Monday's Monday, Tuesday's Thursday, Wednesday's Friday. It's perfect time
Yeah.
travel, right? And then I went freelance and I did a 6 month working for someone, which I'll talk about in a sec. And then I went full time in my business. But it was still a leap at that stage. So some people can go cold turkey, and I think some people need that gradual progression that I
Yeah.
had.
And I'm guessing so. So what, holding that tension between I want to be doing this thing. I've got a bit of I don't know whether it's shame or whatever it is, but like that's holding me back from really claiming that. What was the thing that really got you over the edge to kind of claiming Lucky Bitch and jumping into that?
Well, that was I would say that's a progression as well. So when I
Mm,
first started out and I was, I'd done my coaching certificate, one thing that I did which started getting me in that space, I put in my signature coach and author. And I didn't, because I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it in myself. And it, even just putting that there in my signature felt like it was a big step to claim that I was a coach and author. But you know what I think it was? I think it was getting my first couple of clients, because until then it's just you're
yeah.
theoretically a coach. And I started out like same as everyone else with no people on my database or anything like that, and I just sent out and said, I've just finished my coaching certification. I need to practice on X many people. I've got 3 spots, and I think I had 4 people say that they wanted to coach with me, so I coached with all 4 of them, and 2 ended up being paying clients after that. So that's how I started. But I didn't believe in myself either. I had to just go it gradually. And so I would say for people, if they are kind of working part time, whatever, just get your first client, because you just don't know if you're going to like it. You don't know what kind of coach you're going to be until you actually do it, until you're
Yeah.
actually on the phone with someone. And my first couple of coaching sessions, I had to use my scripts from my life coaching training. I had to read it out. It was over Skype, so no one could see me do it. But everyone starts out kind of a bit scared and a bit
Of
unsure.
course. Yeah. And so what is Lucky, like, tell us a bit about the premise of Lucky Bitch. What's it about?
Yeah. So the book starts off, the first half of it is talking about this period I had a couple of years ago. And it was just when I was really starting to claim my power and claim, what I wanted to do. And it was a space of about a year and a half where everything I wanted, I got. And I manifested all this amazing stuff. So I won, I actually won my life coaching course. I won a ticket to Vegas. I got a ticket for this other course that I wanted to do. And then the big thing that happened was I won 6 months all expenses paid travel around the world.
Wow.
And it was yeah, amazing, right? For me and my husband. And people go, oh, that's amazing. You never hear about people who win those trips. But what I do in Lucky Beach, let me just plug it again. Oh, um, you have to be shameless self-promoter when you're an author. Um, I deconstruct it and I show you the whole process from me in my house in London. So I used to live in London, setting the goal to go traveling, for 6 months with my husband. I deconstruct every single thing that I did to win that trip, to manifest that trip. Because when you read it, you realize it wasn't an accident. No one just plucked me out of a hat and sent me on this trip. It was a deliberate manifestation, really. So that's kind of what Lucky Bitch is about. It's my philosophy is your reality is 100% negotiable. So everything that you want to be, do, and have, you can have. It just might take a little bit of internal work, emotional work, knowing what you want, and then hustle, like
Yeah.
hustling. Yeah. So Lucky Bitches are kind of a bit of a play on that because, as I said before, when amazing things happen, and when I won the trip, some people were like, oh, you lucky bitch. But the people who had seen me for 9 months manifesting this experience were like, no, I saw everything that you did, and I saw how much you worked and hustled for it. So, I'm a practical Virgo, right? It's not just about sitting and meditating on what you want. There's so much stuff that goes into it, but it's practical stuff that you can actually do. When like you read books like The Secret and you go, that's amazing, but what do I do?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what do
Yeah,
I
and
do
I can so
next?
tell that you were
Yeah.
in England at the time because of the word "lucky bitch." I can so see all the English saying that. There's something
Yeah.
about
Well, I lived in the UK for 9 years, so I've only been back in Australia for a year and a half. And again, it's because I set an intention. I wanted to live in a sunny country near the beach, and it
yeah.
all just goes.
Well, if I can focus on the bit about setting the intention, what I notice is that often people will talk about what they don't want rather than what they do want. I don't want this crappy job. I don't want this bad relationship, whatever it is. Um, do you resonate with that? Yeah. Do you notice that in
Absolutely.
people?
Well, I noticed it in myself
Mm.
when I was in my cubicle job. All I wanted to do was just be out of it. And my last real full-time job, I sat there and I bitched about it all day long with my friend. We would be on instant messenger going, can you believe the boss did this? And can you believe the boss did that? And it was really difficult for me to manifest anything different from that because I was so in it and I was just constantly, bemoaning my life.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, you can't manifest it from that space. You can only get it from the space of abundance, which is kind of counterintuitive, right?
it
But,
is.
you know, it's hard to do sometimes too. I totally admit it. And it's the same with anything practical, right? It's always easier to find a new job when you've got a job. When people say that,
Yeah,
because you've got the confidence that you're employable and you've got, the security that goes with that. And it's the exact same thing with the law of attraction. It's not really woo woo at all. It's like if you feel like your life is already amazing, and sometimes you have to pretend it is, then you will only get more of what you're putting out there.
yeah,
And I find that more and more now it starts to compound because life
yeah.
just gets better and better.
And there's kind of a
Just
link with gratitude, isn't there? So like if you can start to appreciate all that is in your life, then it's so much easier to then get more of what you want.
Absolutely, really big time. And I thought when I left that job, I was thinking, oh, I'm not going to be friends with my friend anymore because all we've got in common is bitching about this company. And actually, it was just as much me as it was her. And she's now one of my biggest supporters in terms of positivity and stuff like that. And when we won the competition, some people in the press were saying, oh, it's can't believe that they weren't the best couple and all this kind of stuff. And it was my friend who used to be really cynical about that, who was the one defending me online. She was going
Oh,
posting online just defending us against these anonymous internet commentators. It
I
was
love what you're
hilarious.
saying though, because it's almost like we need a bit of a cause. We need a bit of a positive. I mean, like one of the things I notice doing this project is how few people say no to everyone wants to help and do something. And it's the same kind of thing, But if I was moaning about other stuff, then of course they'd moan with me. So sometimes we just need that lead, don't we?
Of course. So one of the courses that I run for people is the Lucky Bitch Money Boot Camp, and it's about manifesting money. And because I realized that after I won all this stuff, I still wasn't manifesting any money, so I had a word to the universe and said, "That's great. I love winning stuff, but it's time for me to." Learn how to make money. And so that's what I had to learn. That was my next lesson, is that I could have everything I wanted, but it was like being treated like a little kid, you
Yeah,
know? So one of the things on the money boot camp is really teaching people to appreciate their money and to have great money habits, and also to be really aware of what stories they have around money. So one person said, "Oh, I'm sick of all these movies about fat cats and greedy people. It makes me so angry." And I said, "Oh, that's funny. I never see those anymore." I just choose not to have that come into my world, and then it reflects in other things. So she had to do some work on that because it's like, well, what's that bringing up for you? Because our reality is negotiable, so you can choose to believe whatever it is that you want. And I don't think that's sticking your head in the sand. It's just that, especially now when we've got so much information available to us, you have to be selective about what goes in,
yeah,
and you can't just believe everything that you read. In newspapers or see on TV, because we know now that there's just so many companies that got a slant behind things, so you can just choose to believe what you want.
yeah.